Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I hope you all had a good Christmas, I certainly did. In today's video we're going to be doing What If I Changed Dragon Ball Super Part 2. And no further introductions, we can begin. We start off where we left off last time, with Frieza and King Goku being revived, and they are enraged. They came to Earth to kill the Super Saiyan Goku, and instead they got killed by some random Super Saiyan with a purple ball cut and a sword. Sorbet tells him that recently the Saiyans have fought a purple cat who goes by the title of God of Destruction. They fought a purple cat who claims to be the God of Destruction, what a load of rubbish, but Frieza is quick to shut up as he's then struck in the back of the head by someone. King Goku says to Frieza to not underestimate the power of the God of Destruction. Frieza looks at King Goku confused, but then King Goku explains. Many decades ago, when his empire was starting to become successful, King Goku was paid a visit by a certain purple cat named Beerus, the God of Destruction. King Goku didn't care who he was though, tried to simply blast him out of resistance, but to his surprise, Beerus was unfazed. King Goku remembers the glare Beerus gave him, and by casually powering up, he brought King Goku to his knees. Beerus said to King Goku that usually he would obliterate someone who'd done something like that to him, but since he's doing Beerus' job so well, he let him live, but only for this one time though. Frieza is dumbfounded. Someone casually powering up, bringing his father to his knees, and those Saiyans will not only able to fight that person, but survive the encounter with him. And then Frieza says something like what he'll never see in his life. For the next 2 years, him and his father will train. But before they begin their training, Frieza and King Goku will take over a few planets, so they can use the army from those planets to rebuild the empire. After that, Frieza and King Goku will drop off at icy, barren planets. Frieza looks around for a bit, and then turns to his father and asks him, why the hell did he bring to his icy planet? Oh, but this isn't just some icy planet, this is the home planet of their species, a planet with unbearable conditions and over 100 times normal gravity. And as mutants of that species, and born with a massive power level, their potential should be unquantifiable. At first, the two would spar with each other, but this does not quench their desire for revenge against those Saiyans. For decades in hell, Frieza remembers being defeated by the one thing that truly scares him, the Super Saiyan, without being able to do anything. King Goku has a similar desire, and they both come up with one way to sort of quench their desire for revenge: image training. Frieza realized the fight he had with Goku on Namek, but every time he kept losing and losing, even though he does get a bit stronger from it though. But then one time, Frieza finally snaps, putting all of his anger into one attack and charging at Goku at full power. The attack lands, making a hole right through Goku's chest, killing him. With a chaotic smile, Frieza begins maniacally laughing. He finally done it. He finally defeated the Super Saiyan of legend. After that, Frieza begins winning more of his fights with Goku, until eventually, he didn't need to go full power to defeat Goku, and more time after that, he can defeat him as third form, second form, and 1% as first form eventually. King Goku does a similar thing with his fight with Trunks, and I like Trunks, and he's been through a lot in his life, so I'll spare the details on what happens to him. After some more time, Frieza and King Goku gain new transformations that make their previous ones pale in comparison, and with these new forms, they should be more than enough to fight the people on Earth. The 2 years have passed, and Sorbet has come to collect Frieza and King Goku, but instead of seeing an icy planet, he's instead greeted by a planet covered in magma. Emerging from the ground is King Goku, and he says to Sorbet, don't mind him, he was just training in the core of the planet. Sorbet is amazed by King Goku's new power. Even though he can't sense him, he can just feel the pressure emanating from him. Then Sorbet asks King Goku, where is Lord Frieza? King Goku says to Sorbet to follow him, he will show him where Lord Frieza is. Sorbet gets in a spaceship and follows King Goku to what was a nearby star, but is now a massive black hole. King Goku casually puts up an open palm towards the black hole, and instead of shooting a blast towards it, he closes it, making the black hole explode. Emerging from the explosion unscathed is Frieza. Frieza says to everyone that before, if he was in that explosion, he might have died, but now that he's trained, he is unstoppable. 2 years since the Universe 6 tournament has passed on Earth, and the Z-Fighters are still training. Piccolo has seen massive gains in training, due to training with Ultimate Gohan, Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, or the occasional God Goku. Gohan has slacked off a bit due to having a job and a family he needs to look after now, but don't worry, he can still have his ultimate form. I mean, imagine Gohan losing his ultimate form. After giving birth to a new daughter Pan, Vegeta has even done some slight sparring with Gohan, maybe one day she can join the Z-Fighters. Goten and Trunks has also kept up with their training. Yeah, it's around about. Oh wait a minute, they're adults now. During the 2 years, Goten and Trunks has finally aged up to be young adults. And due to having stronger bodies, they are able to become much stronger. They have also mastered Super Saiyan 2, and are even working towards accessing Super Saiyan 3. Speaking of Super Saiyan 3, as the incredible Gotenks, they have completely mastered this form. No standard drain, even making the form a bit stronger itself. As for Goku and Vegeta, when they occasionally go to Beerus planet for some training, they get massive gains in their base form, and he's even Master Super Saiyan God by this point. But Vegeta thinks there's something beyond Super Saiyan God. Before they can turn Super Saiyan because their body is composed of normal and God Ki, but as Super Saiyan God, they are fully 100% God Ki, so maybe he can turn Super Saiyan on top of that. Vegeta goes to Whis about his theory, and Whis thinks it is possible, but it won't be as simple as just going Super Saiyan on top of Super Saiyan God. He'll have to experience the anger and pain of becoming Super Saiyan while Super Saiyan God. It's like starting over again. But as strong as a hypothetical form will be, Whis says to Vegeta, what he's trying to teach him and what Goku's specifically trying to get is much stronger than this hypothetical Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan. A while passes, and Earth gets a visit from the man of tomorrow himself, Jacko, and he comes with bad news. Frieza and King Goku have been arrived and are trained and are much stronger than they are before, and they're coming in about 30 minutes time. Frieza and King Goku come to Earth. Vegeta's pretty confident he can take him over his God form, but as he saw Frost in the Universe 6 tournament, his species can get very strong very fast, so he's going to assemble the Z Warriors just in case. Within no time flat, Yamcha, Android 18, Krillin, Goten, Trunks, Chaozu, Tien, and Majin Buu all arrive at the location Frieza expected to land at. At the front of the group is Gohan, Vegeta, Goku, and Piccolo. All of them, and Krillin, were all on Namek when Frieza attacked it. They all remember what happened, and they hope they can deal with him quickly this time. What Jacko says is correct. Arriving on Earth are spaceships filled with millions, maybe in tens of millions of soldiers. And emerging in front of all of them are Frieza and King Goku themselves. Frieza eyes up the group and sees that they add a few new members to the team, but two people catch his eye, Goku, and someone looks identical to the person that killed him. And Frieza gives a wicked smile. He's actually kinda excited. He'll be able to kill them all for real this time. The entire Frieza force and the Z fighters all stare at each other for a silent few seconds, but then Piccolo charges right through the army and delivers a massive right hook to Frieza's face, sending him right through a mountain. After seeing this, King Goku tells the entire army to go around the whole Earth, terrorizing it. The weaker fighters, being Tien, Chaozu, Yamcha and Krillin, knowing they can't do much in this fight, go try to stop the army. The first one to attack King Goku's Android 18, and trying to end the fight quickly, she charges the destructive disc in hand, trying to slice him in half. But to her surprise, King Goku catches the destructive disc in his hand and crushes it, and with a single punch, she sends Android 18 to the ground, making a massive crater and knocking her out in the process. The next people to fight him are Goten, Trunks and Majin Buu, and they're putting on a much better fight against him than 18 did. The fight between Frieza and Piccolo rages on, and Frieza is shocked. He thought the only thing that might be able to challenge him was Super Saiyan, let alone the Namekian. Frieza is beaten pretty badly by Piccolo, and just as he's about to fight back, someone grabs his wrist. Vegeta says to Frieza that he made a massive mistake coming back here, because now he's going to die a painful death twice. Frieza begins laughing and tells Vegeta that he does not plan on dying anytime soon. Frieza's body begins glowing, and after a while it shatters like glass, and he reveals to everyone his new form, Golden Frieza. Frieza says to everyone that the reason why he made his form gold is so he can show to everyone that his golden form is superior to the Super Saiyan. King Goku sees this and decides maybe he should go to his full power as well. He begins powering up as he gets much bulkier and grows much taller even than he already was. King Goku says to everyone that the reason why his new form looks like this is to show that everyone that he's the king and everyone below him is inferior to him, which includes the Saiyans. Piccolo sees his new form and he is terrified of its power, but he's not going to give up, so he launches a full power blast towards Frieza, and it does absolutely nothing. In response, Frieza charges towards Piccolo and grabs him by the neck with his tail, all while laughing. He begins repeatedly punching Piccolo in the stomach and then throws him in the water, expecting him to drown. After seeing this, Gohan powers up into his alternate form, also getting a rage boost from this, and charges towards Frieza, and he begins beating down on our Frieza that's kind of trying. King Goku sees this and shoots a barrage of death beams towards Gohan. Gohan, while fighting Frieza, has to turn and try and block his attack, and Frieza, taking the opportunity, blasts Gohan in the back, almost knocking him out in the process. But that was a bad move King Goku's part, because the second he divided his attention away from the group he was fighting, Goten and Trunks fused the Gotenks and powered the Master Super Saiyan 3. This catches Frieza's attention. Well, he thought he was fancy with this transformation, but more importantly, these Saiyans are in fusion. This could be more of an issue than he thought, but as he's thinking this, someone else catches his attention. Vegeta is transformed into Super Saiyan God right in front of Frieza, and he says to Gohan to go and get Piccolo from the water as he stares at Goku for a second. Goku understands what Vegeta is getting at, and while King Goku's caught off guard, Goku punches him in the face, sending him miles away as he sends for Buu and Gotenks to follow him. Vegeta and Frieza glare at each other, and Vegeta repeats what he said earlier and says Frieza's gonna regret coming back to Earth as the fight between God and the Emperor starts.
Goku, Gotenks and Boo all land in front of King Cold and they all eye him up. His size is pretty impressive, as well as his power, so all gonna need to gang to fight him for this. King Cold says to all of them, God, fusion, or monster, doesn't matter, none of them will be able to do anything to him. All three of them gang up on King Cold, and even for all of this, they're still struggling to keep up with him. Goku realizes that the only way they can defeat King Cold is to hit him with their full power, but obviously King Cold's not going to allow him to do that, so they have to restrain him somehow, and Goku comes up with an excellent idea. Goku telepathically tells Boo about his plan, and Boo thinks it's a great idea, so Boo rips off a few pieces of himself and throws them at King Cold. Although not being completely restrained by the technique, the fact of such an odd move makes King Cold temporarily slow down a bit. Taking the only opportunity, Goku and Gotenks power up to their full power and launch a massive Kamehameha towards King Cold, who has no other option but to try and stop it with his bare hands. Unfortunately, Gotenks refuses due to giving up too much power in that massive Kamehameha. But fortunately, Gohan and newly healed Piccolo arrive to the scene and launch their own full power blast towards King Cold. During the beginning struggle, Trunks looks around to see if his father is there and why he's not helping. Then he sees something that terrifies him. Vegeta is losing his fight against Frieza. Without hesitation, Trunks leaves the beam struggle to go and help his father. Even with his incredibly powerful Super Saiyan God form, Vegeta still somehow losing to Frieza, who is out for blood. Vegeta is beaten into his base form and is now lying in a crater in the ground. Frieza goes down to where Vegeta is lying and tells him that he's surprised that a monkey was able to push him this far in this form, but unfortunately he's going to have to cut the little play session short. Frieza grins and points a death beam right towards Vegeta's chest, but before he's about to fire, something happens that surprises the both of them. Trunks comes out of nowhere with a massive destructive disc and throws it straight for Frieza's neck. Being caught off guard, the destructive disc was a direct hit, leaving Frieza with an open wound in his neck. This enrages Frieza. Not only does someone have the nerve to attack him from behind, but it was by that person who killed him when he first came to Earth, and he's gonna make him suffer now. Truly being the son of the prince, Trunks does not back down from his fight, even though the gap in power here is potentially millions of times. The two begin their fight. Oh my bad, did I say fight? I mean Trunks' brutal beatdown session. No matter what he does, Trunks can do anything to even make Frieza flinch, and in response, Frieza responds back with a bunch of bone-shattering blows. At one point, Frieza just stands there, telling Trunks to hit him with the most strongest attack. Trunks delivers a barrage of blows so strong that he make his fist bleed, which ends with Frieza grabbing Trunks with his tail, slowly choking him to death. Vegeta begs Frieza not to do it. He'll do anything he wants, he can kill him instead, just let his son live. Frieza looks at Vegeta and gives him a chaotic smile before putting his finger on Trunks' chest, shooting a death beam right through him and throwing him in the crater with Vegeta. Trunks lands right next to Vegeta and Vegeta picks him up and begins to cry. He begs his son not to die on him, just hold him a little longer, but as he says this, Trunks' life force fades to nothingness as his son dies. Frieza turns around and sees that everyone else has launched a massive beam towards his father. He then starts charging his own attack, ready to erase him all from existence. That is until something stops him. Coming out of the crater is a geyser of bright blue flaming ki as bright as the sun, and I imagine from that is Vegeta, now with blue hair and holding the dead body of his son. Frieza's terrified right now. No, this can't be happening, it's just like what happened with Goku and Namek. But before he can do anything, Vegeta charged towards Frieza with unimaginable speed and punched him in the stomach, sending him into orbit and now with a massive hole in his stomach. Before he can do anything, Vegeta's already on top of him and punches Frieza right towards the earth and hits him so hard that he creates a massive crater visible from space. Frieza knows he can't do anything against Vegeta now, but then he gets a flashback to what happened to Namek and what he done with Goku, so for his last trump card, he begins begging to Vegeta to spare him. If he'd do anything, he'll give him his empire, he'll join the good guys, just let him live. Vegeta thinks of what Frieza's saying, but the only thing he can think of now is the cries his son gave before he died. Vegeta grabs Frieza's hand, seemingly giving him the help up before anything else can happen. Vegeta breaks Frieza's hand and pushes him on the ground, and then he says to Frieza he left him with a little gift. Frieza is surrounded by blue aura and is being burnt alive. He screams in pain, but those screams are stopped when a hand goes on his face. Vegeta grabs Frieza by the face and begins crushing his head, and the last word the Emperor hears is Big Bang Attack. Frieza is being launched in the air by the Big Bang Attack, and to finish it off, Vegeta snaps his fingers as the Big Bang Attack explodes, disintegrating Frieza, and finally killing the Emperor for good. Vegeta does not say anything. Instead, he walks over to the body of his lifeless son and sits next to it, not doing anything. While all that's going on, everyone else is still trying to overpower King Cold with their final attack, but nothing's working. Goku curses to himself. All he needs is a brief burst of power, and then he'll be able to overpower King Cold. That's when Goku gets an idea. Wait, all he needs is a brief burst of power? Goku has the perfect technique for that, but it could come in the process, but it's worth it. Goku begins his power up more and more, and as he braces himself, he screams, Kaioken. Goku's only able to use for a few seconds, but a few seconds was all he needed, as King Cold cannot hold onto the glass anymore and is engulfed, sent flying into space, and seemingly dead.
They all go over to where Vegeta is, and not only has he defeated Frieza all by himself, but he also got a new form from it. But all the happiness goes away as you see next to him the dead body of Trunks. But before anyone can say anything, two people arrive to the scene. Beerus and Whis arrive to the scene, congratulating everyone for defeating such strong opponents. Beerus being Beerus says to everyone, "This calls for a celebration." He immediately mocks Corp, but everyone just looks at him in pure anger, and somebody even punches him in the face. To everyone's sheer shock and terror, Vegeta went up right to Beerus and punched him square in the face. Vegeta begins screaming at Beerus, telling him that the whole point of his job is to eliminate threats from his universe. Frieza and King Cold threats his universe, so why didn't he kill him? He could have done it easily. If he had just done that, then trillions more people would still be alive. If he had done that, his son would still be alive. Beerus is taken aback by this. No mortal ever is talking down to him like that. Those words no more than Vegeta's punch did. Beerus stands with a blank expression on his face, and then after a bit he turns to Whis and tells him he knows what to do. Whis knows and proceeds to casually walk up to Trunks and bonk him on the head with his staff. Everyone looks getting confused for a few seconds, but then, to everyone's surprise, Trunks comes back alive. This makes Vegeta's heart skip a beat. Since when could Whis do something like that? But instead of questioning it, the first thing he does, he goes up to Trunks and gives him a big hug. Beerus goes up to Vegeta and tells him that his whole life he's always had that in the back of his head, but it really took someone telling him for it to finally hit him, and from now on he'll try his best to become a good destroyer. Now, about that celebration he was talking about. Afterwards, they all go to Capsicum and have a massive celebration. Oh yeah, and by the way, no one tells Bulma what happens to Trunks, cause well, she found out not even Beerus nor Vegeta was new form were able to stop her. All jokes aside, everyone enjoys himself, but at one point in the party, someone approaches Beerus, someone who you wouldn't expect to. Piccolo approaches Beerus and says to him that a while ago he offered Goku a place to God of Destruction, but Goku denied it, and Piccolo is wondering, is there still space open for our next candidate? Piccolo explains for the longest time, people just showed up and are just naturally stronger than him, but Piccolo just said he would just train to surpass him one day, but when Frieza showed up, Piccolo learned that there are some gaps that cannot be closed with training. Beerus gets serious for a second and says to Piccolo that if he wants to become the God of Destruction, you have to take part in several decades worth of harsh, rigorous training. Piccolo smirks and said to Beerus that he will do anything to become this universe's new God of Destruction. Hundreds of miles away, King Cold wakes up in the middle of the forest, enraged that he lost again to the same people. Then King Cold smirks himself. Sure, his empire and his son are gone, but he's still alive, and they don't know that. He'll just go away for a year and train, come back and kill them all. It's a foolproof plan, but as he's walking away, something falls on his arm. A weird pink substance has fallen on King Cold's arm. King Cold looks out confused for a second, but then he realises it looks like that thing that Majin Buu guy threw at him. Thinking that the Z-Fighters are found, King Cold rips off the gooey substance and tries to fly away, but as he does, he feels a sharp pain go through his chest. A sword of all things has pierced his armour and skin. King Cold looks at the sword and realizes how familiar it looks. Before anything else can happen, someone kicks him so hard in the head that not only disorients him, but sends him careening towards the ground. King Cold looks up and sees not one, but two people have defeated him, and one in particular catches his attention. "You!" he screams as he tries launching one more death beam towards him, but then one of them shoots a beam towards him, but instead of killing him, it turns him into a cookie? One of the two people walk up to the now King Cold cookie and devours it. The peasant eats it and says it's a complete delight, best cookie Boo ever had. Now this isn't the Majin Buu you all know and love. The peasant just said the cookie is Super Boo? The other peasant walks up to the sword that was once in King Cold's chest and picks it up. He says to Super Boo he doesn't know why King Cold was back and why he was so strong, but he can still sense everyone else's energy, and that cookie did make Boo quite a bit stronger. The person revealed to be with Boo is future Trunks, and he has the ultimate form. Trunks says to Boo to put his hand on his back, he's going to take him to see some old friends. But why is Trunks and Super Boo teamed up? Why is Trunks have the ultimate form? And what caused two incredibly powerful beings to seek help in the past once more? Find out next time on What If I Changed? Dragon Ball Super.